I really wanted to play Mass Effect this month, but the internet, it scared me away. I really enjoy the atmosphere and immersion that the Mass Effect world always gives with the music. Oh, being sucked into a epic sci-fi adventure, being a space cowboy. And I knew that the bugs and animations would be a no-go for me. Nah. So instead of making a so-so review of Mass Effect, I decided to give it some time, some breathing room, to get those fixed before I, give it a little tickle. Instead, I went to get my sci-fi fix from Deus Ex Mankind Divided. A very slow game, like a R&B slow jam equivalent to the fast-paced shaky cam hype coma-inducing games of today. It's almost a bit boring, like an episode of Breaking Bad or House of Cards would be. Like, still entertaining, but in a subtle way. And I'm not comparing the two story-wise. No. I think it has a lot to do with me playing a stealth non-lethal run too. In this Deus Ex, they give you a lot more options to play how you want to play. They never force you into a situation where you have to kill or not hide in vents. I spent a good half hour looking through all the upgrades. There's a lot of useful stuff that will give you a different experience when you're playing. Now, I can't talk about shooting people, but I can talk about stealth and how the map design allows you to take different paths to get to the same place. Like, if you don't put points into hacking, there will be a note on a guard or in a room that will give you the key code for the door. Or there'll be a vent under the desk, or jump out through the window and get through there. I wouldn't say that there's no stealth mechanics in each area of the game. But I would say the situation and the placement of different paths does change enough that the game still keeps being satisfying. To a point. There was a moment where I spent a skill point on hacking for a side quest. When I finally got through the door, I realized I could have just went through the window. I spent 7 minutes on that door. Some alternate paths are not that smart. Now, some are nicely hidden, but others are, a couple steps to the right and behind some boxes.
Get out of here. Smart clank like you should know where he's not wanted.
But when it's trying to be smart, it's fun. It's like there are multiple teams working on the game, and there's just one team was just really good at making certain levels. I personally enjoyed Golem City. It was like a huge maze apartment complex. It was a hot mess, but it was fun to sneak around in. What sucks is that missions like that are little and far apart, and it doesn't help where you can turn invisible and just walk by these guards. I think I should have played on a harder difficulty because I probably would have enjoyed the stealth sections just a little bit more. So the stealth areas are not what standed out to me. It was more like the glue that pieced together all the other sections. I ended up enjoying the world and the story of the game. Even the side quests were pretty good. In this day and age, of course, the graphics are gonna look good, and the cities do look good. They got a little bit of style going on, and the world changes as you go through the story. They even really hammer the hate for augmented people after the events of the first game, by constantly throwing you into a non-skippable cutscene every time a cop wants to check your papers.
License, permit, voucher, document of authority, temporary pass, travel coupon, and or certificate of authenticity.
Good old days, we'd just ask for ID.
But at the same time, the city can also seem like it's not living, if you know what I mean. After seeing it already, you'll just run through the streets instead of taking it in a second time. I think it has a lot to do with the NPCs being basic. I mean, they're named civilian and they repeat dialogue. That's as basic as they come. Sometimes you'll be hacking into a garage, getting your 5-finger discount, and then you notice that you're in someone's shop.
Underground websites and radio stations.
Over here, friend.
I have what you need.
It's okay though, because he's basic. It's weird to try to find out what you can and cannot steal from NPCs, so sometimes you gotta save scum it, you know? Throw a save and then test out the waters, like you're testing the temperature before you going inside the pool, alright? And you reload if they start to get pissed. And if they don't, you know what time it is. The NPCs that actually have a name, though, are pretty good characters. If you take the time, you'll find out little bits that really flesh out their story. There may not be a ton of side quests and a ton of NPCs with daily lives, but when you do a side quest, most of the time it's gonna be a legit story, not the story equivalent of collect 10 slime bombs from goop monsters. There's times where you can change the outcome of a scene by convincing a character to do or not to do something, and the music is just bumping loud, thumping in the background. Oh, it's so good. And you know what I like? You know what I like? When you have choices, okay? And the game actually shows you exactly what the character is going to say. Can we just make that a thing? The cherry on the cake is the lighthearted dialogue they throw in there. In this gloomy world, you have this well-placed dry humor.
Those cops won't be a problem anymore.
Too bad. I was just starting to warm up to them.
I can try and get some more down here if that's what you want.
No. It is better this happens now before I become too attached. You mind untying me?
Sure.
I enjoyed my time with Deus Ex, but it reminded me a bit of the Mass Effect series, and to the point, it reminded me of why I didn't want to play Mass Effect Andromeda right now. Because even though the animations were fine, there were a few cases of lip sync issues and some terrifying graphical glitches. Yes, it definitely bothered me and took me out of the game, but it wasn't frequent enough for me to call this a Deus mess. You know, just because of a glitch in the Matrix. That stuff is around the okay line. The way this game ended was not okay. When the credits rolled, I thought I was playing an episodic series and not a full game. This game left more unanswered questions than an episode of Lost. Oh my gosh, just to be left on a cliffhanger in the middle of the credit sequence. I give this game 2 blue balls out of 10. Bad.